Good afternoon and apologies for the delay. We welcome you to our midday briefing and we have a few announcements before we take your questions. Let me start by sharing the college agenda and press arrangements planned for tomorrow. Tomorrow it is planned that the college adopts the EU-Mercosur partnership agreement and the modernized EU-Mexico Global Agreement. We will be organizing all you need in terms of press moments, from a technical briefing, under embargo on these two texts in our press room as of the early morning at 9, and after the college meeting, as usual, we will have the college readout, but also a presser with HRVP Kallas and Commissioner Šefčovič to present these two initiatives. The college is also sent to adopt its second package for the 2028-2034 multi-annual financial framework, and this should be presented by Commissioner McGrath here at the press room. Additionally, on the agenda of the college for tomorrow is a communication on the European Citizens' Initiative on Cohesion Policy for the equality of the regions and sustainability of the regional cultures. So this is for the college agenda and press events, and we will share the details accordingly later today with you. Now, I would like to ask Eva to join us to the podium on the aid that the EU is providing to Afghanistan following the tragic events there. Eva.
Thank you, Paula, and good afternoon, everybody. Yes, exactly. Our help for Afghanistan is already on its way. We react quickly after the sad news about the earthquake in the northeastern part of the country. So, firstly, 2 EU-funded humanitarian flights are set to arrive in Kabul later this week. This will carry 130 tons of relief material like shelters, tents, medical supplies, clothes, water, purification material. And most importantly, the European Commission has immediately mobilized 1 million in humanitarian emergency funding to support partners that are already delivering aid on the ground and that are able to assist. This package comes on top of our long-standing commitment to Afghanistan. We would also like to extend our sincere condolences to the families affected by the earthquake, and we stay in solidarity with the Afghan people in this difficult time. And for you, I invite you to read our press release where you have more information and background.
Thank you very much, Eva. Now, let me refer to today's councils. Et je le ferai en français. Donc, les ministres des Affaires européennes se réunissent aujourd'hui de manière informelle à Copenhague. La Commission y est représentée par les commissaires Kos et McGrath. Et les ministres vont discuter notamment avec la commissaire Kos l'état de droit dans les pays candidats à l'élargissement, la préparation de l'Union européenne à l'arrivée de nouveaux membres et les avantages de l'élargissement pour les Européens. Le commissaire McGrath, lui, il va échanger avec les ministres sur le renforcement de la boîte à outils de l'Union européenne en matière d'état de droit. Donc, comme d'habitude, nous vous invitons à réserver vos questions sur ces sujets pour la conférence de presse dédiée qui aura lieu vers 15h30. Voici pour nos annonces et on peut passer à vos questions. Je commence ici. Yes, please.
Hello. It's on cohesion. I understand that next week there will be a plenary vote on the midterm review of MFF, and some MEPs are concerned, or they are wondering if the new rules relaxing some of the cohesion funds might go ineffectively to Hungary, and this might also concern frozen funds under the conditionality mechanism. I would like to know if the Commission is having some assurances for the European Parliament that this is not the case, and if you can also highlight what are these assurances. Thank you.
Thank you. Balázs.
I can give you some clarity. Maciej, this will be for Maciej, who is not here today. I'm giving a shot to replacing him. Now, what is clear is that indeed there are some flexibilities in the field of the cohesion policy. Funds can be potentially moved under certain circumstances, but if the conditionality regulation is in application and if funds have been frozen under that instrument, you can rest assured that those funds cannot be touched, cannot be affected by the potential flexibilities which exist under the cohesion policy.
Thank you, Balázs. Since we have you on stage and with the two hats, your files and also Maciej's, any further questions to Balázs? Does not seem to be the case. Let me check quickly. No, I don't think so. Yes, please, Silvia.
Thank you, Silvia Ayuso, for Vice Newspaper. I know that you're going to explain everything tomorrow on the Mercosur and the Mexico agreements, but just to be clear, so this is the College will adopt the legal text that later this is the beginning of the ratification process, to explain it correctly, and then they have to go to the states and to the Parliament for the final ratification. Is that correct?
Yes. But indeed, Silvia will come back with all those explanations tomorrow, but this was the foreseen next step following the conclusion of the negotiations per se last December, and with Mercosur, and slightly thereafter with Mexico. Other questions? Yes, Vitaly.
Vitaly Sizov of Freedom. I have one question for Foreign Affairs. Today, Robert Fico had a meeting with Vladimir Putin in China. Is he representing the EU at this meeting, and what is your opinion about this event? And he criticized EU for the lack of strategic vision. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Foreign Affairs, Anita.
Thank you.
To your first meeting.
Thank you. To your first question, the answer is simple, no. And to the second, no comments on comments.
So no, we are not being represented at that meeting in China. Any other questions to Anita? Foreign Affairs? Yes.
Angela Scoogens from TVP World. It's foreign affairs and energy, but we'll try our best. So Bloomberg is reporting that Russia's Gazprom has signed a legally binding agreement to build a pipeline from Siberia to China. Is the Commission worried about this potential alliance being strengthened between the Kremlin as well as Beijing? Does this undermine Brussels' relationship with Beijing? And we've heard, energy is a way that the Kremlin can fund its war machine, its invasion of Ukraine. Is the Commission concerned about how much money can be made from this and the impact that this will have on the war-torn country? Thank you.
Well, we can speak for ourselves and say that we are definitely determined to phase out the imports of fossil fuels from Russia. That is very, very clear. And of course, China is, and its companies are free to do what they want with whoever they want. Do we want to add anything, Anita, on this?
Maybe on China, our position is that China's support to Russian war of aggression continues obviously to affect negatively our relationship, also because China remains a key enabler for Russia's war of aggression. So we have made also these points quite clearly to them.
Good. Other questions on foreign affairs? Yes, Moser?
Paula, this is also related questions. It's about the EU's relations not with China but with India, considering the fact that India is also buying fossil fuels, oil from Russia, and because of that, I mean, they have been punished by the United States, by the Trump administration, which imposed last week tariffs of 50%. Does that pose a kind of dilemma, I mean, for the EU position, because which is, of course, to do something about the circumvention of sanctions against Russia? Thank you.
Yeah, Anita.
Thank you. So as a general point, the EU condemns third countries' continued support for Russia's war of aggression. That's why we have this circumvention clause also in the 11th package throughout, and this is also one of the points that we have raised also to all our partners to stop continuing any type of support towards Russia.
Yes, and Gina.
I'm not 100% sure if this is a question for you, Anita, so apologies if it's not. But on the GPS scrambling from yesterday, there have been a couple of posts online suggesting that the flight that President von der Leyen was traveling on was not actually delayed, and that it suggests that there was no sign of GPS scrambling on that flight. I wonder if you could just react to that and explain, how do we know, and do we have any further details on GPS interference during that flight?
I think that's not necessarily for Anita. I will take this one, and then we'll see if there's more for Anita. Now, what we said yesterday, and we can confirm today, is that there was a GPS jamming, but fortunately the plane landed safely. And this information we had got from the Bulgarian air traffic control authorities, and there was also a statement that had been issued by the Bulgarian traffic control authorities in this sense, and that you should be able to find. Now, independently of what has happened in that particular flight, what we can also say is that since the beginning of the war, of the invasion of Ukraine by Russia, so since February 2022, there has been a considerable and very notable increase in GNSS jamming and recently spoofing occurrences in Bulgaria and in the eastern flank from Finland to Cyprus, impacting EU aircraft and vessels. And this is particularly the case in regions surrounding conflict zones, encompassing large areas, as said, from the Baltic Sea and the Black Sea. And it is for this reason that we see the need to, on the one hand, continue in investing in defence, but also in our readiness. And that's why we are also looking into how best to be prepared for such a situation. And you may have seen that Commissioner Kubilius yesterday announced plans for low Earth orbit satellites, which are aimed at strengthening the resilience against GPS disruption. So we are preparing for the situation. We have noted that this is an increasing phenomenon and are putting in place instruments that will allow us to counter such incidents. And now we can go back to follow-up, David. Yes.
Yes, thank you, Paula. Thank you for this follow-up. I think that the question is quite important, the issue of the president plane, because this morning the Kremlin or the president of the sovereign fund of Russia, let's say, has used the records to try to debunk some messages. So I don't know. In any case, the point is that we have read in the Financial Times that the plane of the president was forced to land with paper maps, okay? Which sounds quite strange because there are other systems apart of GPS. So my first question is it correct? The plane was forced to land with paper maps? when the Bulgarian authorities communicate to you the jamming, and where, in the sense, was it against the airport, against the plane, against the airspace, and so on? And basically, could we have the details? Because otherwise, someone else, the enemies of the European Union, will try to use information against the European Union, even if the European Union is a victim of an hybrid attack. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, David. And here we can only refer to those who have really first-hand this information. And as I mentioned, these are notably the Bulgarian air traffic controllers who issued a statement according to which during the European Commission President's flight to Plovdiv, the satellite signal providing data to the aircraft's GPS navigation system was disrupted. While approaching Plovdiv airport, the GPS signal disappeared. To ensure flight safety, air traffic control immediately proposed an alternative landing approach using ground-based navigation systems. It's the instrument landing system. So this is what we can refer to. It's those who see on the spot what happened exactly. Yeah, Hanske.
Thank you, Ansgar Hase, German press agency DPA. A quick follow-up question. Can you please give us the flight time for the flight? Thank you.
The flight time? I can say that the flight did take longer than it was expected, having been there myself. I can't remember exactly what was foreseen time flight, but it took considerably longer. Sorry?
Roundabout?
I think the flight took around 1.5 hours, I think. I have to double check how exactly. Yes, please.
Thank you. Olga Kirilova, Telegraph UA. Are there any updates on the meeting of Coalition of the Willing in Paris on the 4th of September? Will President von der Leyen take part in it online and in person? And what's on the agenda if it's known for now? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I can confirm that President von der Leyen will participate in the meeting of the Coalition of the Willing that is called for this Thursday in hybrid format in Paris. Yes. Please.
I have a question regarding the 19th sanctions package against Russia. RUSI today, Eloise from the Parliament magazine, sorry. RUSI today have released a report which finds that Russia, along with other actors such as Iran and North Korea, are engaged in a practice called flag hopping, which allows them to essentially re-register their ships under new flags and thus evade sanctions. Is this a practice the Commission will address in its new package of sanctions, and if so, how?
Thank you. We will not be able to comment on the content of the sanctions because we're currently working on it.
Yes, I'm afraid it's still a bit too early to go further on the content of it. Yes, Antoine.
Thank you, Paola. Antoine Muto for Japanese TV and HK. I have a question back on China. Since there are reports that both Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un will be participating tomorrow to a military parade in Beijing, I was wondering whether this could weigh in any way on your next package of sanctions. Could we expect more Chinese companies to be included on the 19th package of sanctions? Thank you.
It's another way of trying to know more about the 19th sanctions package, Antoine, and we welcome your attempt. But for the moment, there's really not more that we can say. It's being prepared, so we're looking into different options. Good. Still foreign affairs? For Anwar, do we have for Anita still any questions? I see some online. Please put down your hands in case it is not for Anita. Momchil.
Good afternoon. My question is related to China.
Momchil, there is echo. And now there's no echo anymore, but we lost Momchil.
Do you hear me now?
We do.
Okay, so my question is about China. A delegation of the Bulgarian Socialist Party is attending the event in China hosted by Xi Jinping, but the delegation is led by a deputy prime minister, and also part of these delegations are one minister and two deputy ministers. What's the opinion of the European Commission about this?
So it goes back to a previous question on participation at this gathering in China. Anita.
Thank you. It's not for us to comment on whatever this commission or committee is doing, unfortunately, or fortunately.
Okay. Finbar, also online.
Yes, thank you, Paula. Finbar Birmingham from SCMP. We've seen some posts from the EU delegation in Beijing and European Union diplomats from Germany, for example, on X, to mark the anniversary of World War II and the parade and so on, and congratulating China while making clear that the UN Charter is being flouted by Russia, etc. Can you tell us whether there's any planned contacts between the Commission or the EU institutions with Chinese counterparts, any exchange of notes or anything like that? Because, as I said, we've seen some online interaction, but I'm wondering if there's anything official planned. Thank you.
Thank you. We're always in contact with our counterparts. That's why we also have a delegation on the ground.
But we haven't seen any further specific contacts on this subject raised, Finbar. Other questions to Anita? Yes.
Angela Scoogens again from TVP World. Going back to sanctions, the High Representative on Saturday in Copenhagen, if I remember correctly, she said that she was inviting European capitals to give their feedback on the 19th sanctions package this week. I was just wondering if there was a date set for that and what the contents of that feedback or discussion could look like. Thank you.
Thank you. You're referring to Gimnik and the discussions that took place there when it comes to Ukraine, when it comes of our support towards Ukraine, and also how we can increase the pressure on Russia. And sanctions is one of these elements. There were very good exchanges taking place. We'll also have further exchanges continuing, but there's nothing further I can say on this.
Okay, good. No more questions to Anita. Then we continue on foreign affairs. Noureddin.
Hola. I have two questions to Anwar. One is on Iran. Russia and China, two permanent members of the Security Council, plus Iran, considered in a common letter to the Security Council that the invocation of the snapback by the European Union Troika is legal according to the two members of the Security Council resolution. We took note of that. High Representative supported the Troika approach. In the weeks ahead, few weeks, the JCPOA will come to an end. Means that the mission of the High Representative as coordinator will come also to an end. So I would like to know what is the reaction of the High Representative regarding the letter of the China, Russia, and Iran on this. And technically, is it correct to consider that the mission of the European Union as coordinator of the JCPOA will come to an end in a few weeks' time, I think, by 19th of October, something like that? My second question is on Gaza. Belgium announced officially that it will join the group of countries who will recognize the state of Palestine, but also the Foreign Affairs Minister present a set of sanctions that Belgium is ready to take, whether on national level, but also on European level. My question on this, what is the High Representative, how she considers the recognition of the state of Palestine in the next UN Assembly? Is it helpful, let's say, for the peace process, for the idea, for the principle of the two-state solution? Second, do you have any kind of estimation that there are more and more countries in the European Union who are in favor of targeting the violent settler and the violent ministers and extremist ministers, at least in the settlement, trade and business with the European market? Thank you.
Indeed, so Belgium joined those who want to recognize the Palestinian state. Anwar.
Yes, thank you, Paula. Thank you, Nordin, for the question. I'll start with Iran, and then we would go to Palestine. A word came quite recurrently in your intervention, which was the verb "and." Even though the 30-day deadline has started in terms of the snapback that has been announced and triggered last week, this does not mean the end of diplomacy. Quite the opposite. We have now a window ahead of us. The ball is in Tehran court, and the High Representative will continue to do everything possible to find and to facilitate such a negotiated outcome, because only a diplomatic solution can actually be found in terms of the nuclear program of Iran. Now, going back to the first point that you have raised, let me take you back to 2020. Because what you put your finger on is related to the dispute resolution mechanism. This mechanism has been triggered in 2020 by the E3, so France, Germany, and the UK. And that mechanism is foreseen under the JCPOA, and it has been triggered back then in view of Iran reducing, back then, the implementation of their nuclear commitment under the JCPOA. This mechanism, the dispute resolution mechanism, went through different stages. And these stages are actually referred to in the statement of last week by the coordinator of the JCPOA Joint Commission in the person of the High Representative. To date, where are we at? The issue remains unresolved, and the E3 have decided to actually now take it further to the UN Security Council through the triggering of the snapback mechanism. And we have now this window of 30 days ahead of us in terms of trying to find a solution before these sanctions are reinstated. And in that window, the High Rep remains resolved to do everything she can in her power. You mentioned her specific role, and she's activating that role, as she has always been doing so since the start of her mandate, to find and to facilitate a further diplomatic solution through negotiation. And she will also, and she is doing that as we speak, calling on parties, all the parties that are concerned, to urgently undertake all the efforts in that direction. Now, on the second question that you had on Palestine, our position is clear. There is no other solution than the two-state solution. In terms of recognition, as we all know, this is a competence that lies with the member states. Though our position has been quite clear and has been outlined in several European Council conclusions, in the sense that the EU has been having a long-standing commitment to a just and comprehensive solution of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict based on the two-state solution, which means what? Which means a solution with the state of Israel and an independent, democratic, contiguous, sovereign and viable state of Palestine living side by side in peace and security with mutual recognition, with Jerusalem serving as the future capital of these both states. And within the framework of the CFSP, the Common Foreign and Security Policy, the EU will relentlessly work with all member states to promote a common EU position in terms of a position based on the two-state solution. And what you have mentioned in terms of the national decisions is actually part of that framework. Thank you very much.
Yes, Nureddin.
Anwar, could you react to the fact that the three countries, mainly the two, China and Russia, are also considering that the Troika violated the Resolution 2231 of 2015 because they did not implement their commitment according to the resolution when it comes to the different kind of sanction or the more politically that Iran did not get the economic dividend of that agreement because United States, sure, but also the European were unable, let's say, to implement the United Nations resolution. So this is, it is a legal argument, but it is also a political one. Could you react on that, please?
Thanks much, Nordin. I think I just did, and judging from the legal angle of your question, I offered you a legal answer from our side, going back to what happened in 2020 through the DRM, so the dispute resolution mechanism, which actually answers the claim that you have been echoing from the countries that you have been referring to. So I have nothing further to add to that point. Thank you.
Other foreign affairs questions to Anwar? Does not seem to be the case. Jorge, we change topic then.
Hello, Paula. Could you tell us if Commissioner Maros Šefčovič or any other commissioner intervened in the last minute to stop a fine against Google that was prepared and completed under the DMA? Thank you.
We have, yes, Ariane, stepping in. For all of you. Yeah.
Jorge, you are a certainty on where you sit, so I do see you. Thank you. So what I can say is that in June 2023, the Commission had informed Google of its preliminary view that the company was breaching EU antitrust rules by distorting competition in the advertising technology industry, so-called ad tech industry. The Commission in particular takes issues with Google's favouring its own online display advertising technology services to the detriment of competing providers of advertising technology services, advertisement and online publishers. So these are the concerns that we had stated back in 2023. At this stage, the investigation continues to be ongoing, and of course we would not be commenting further on it.
Yes, Jorge.
So, thank you, Ariana, for the clarification. So, at no point did this investigation reach the end of it. It was never completed. It was never ready for publication. That's what you are saying here on the record.
What I'm saying is that the investigation is concluded once a decision is adopted, and no decision has been adopted. This is the reality of today, and as I said, the investigation is ongoing, therefore.
You will hear from us when it is concluded. Good. Still any question on this file? Wait, because I'll give the floor to those who have not asked questions yet.
Anup from Euractiv, still on this Google ad tech case. Can you confirm whether the case has been discussed at the college level, that is the political level, and whether recently Commissioner Šefčovič and Commissioner Ribera have discussed this case based on the reporting by MLX yesterday? Thank you.
We're not in the habit of commenting on our internal procedures. The investigation is ongoing and the decision has not been adopted.
Indeed. So not more that can be said about this. Now I see some questions, some hands raised online. Are they to be addressed by Ariana, who is on the podium? Aude van der Hoeven. Oj, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I have a question still on AdTech. There are rumors that the Commission would be waiting on the DOJ case. Could you confirm or say if that is the case, or if you're following what is happening in the US on AdTech as well?
Investigation ongoing. No other comment on it.
We know that this topic gives rise to immense rumors and to the creativity and imagination, but I'm afraid this is all we have to say for now. Leo, is this still for Ariana?
Yes, thank you. Just a follow-up again on the same topic. The reporting by MLEX mentions that the DOJ and specifically Gail Slater has sent an email to the European Commission relating to this topic. I think it was over the weekend. Could you confirm that such a communication took place, that the DOJ has sent this email on this topic? Thank you.
No, again, the fact that we cooperate with international authorities is not new, but we wouldn't be commenting specifically on the context we have with whom and when.
Good. We move on. We have nothing more to add on that. Jorge. Sorry? Same topic. We give it a go. As said, there's not much we can add, but okay, Jorge, and then I'll come back to you, David. Yes?
No, it's more generally, actually. Could you tell us what role, if any, Commissioner Šefčovič is playing on the implementation on DSA and DMA? Is he involved in any way, having a say, sending comments to the teams, to the relevant commissioners, or is he keeping a completely separate role in this regard? Thank you.
Well, as you know, on any decision to be taken by the Commission, this is a collegial body, so all members of the college have a say when it comes to the adoption. So that's what we can say generally, because that's the case. So ultimately, everyone has a say on decisions that are adopted by the college. David.
No, thanks.
Good. Then we move on. Next topic. Yes.
Yeah, I have a question on the ongoing case against Meta under the DMA. It was confirmed that Mark Zuckerberg met President Trump a few weeks ago discussing the EU's DMA and the ongoing investigation against Meta. In that regard, I wanted to know where the Commission is currently in relation to the periodic penalty payments. When can we see any fines or a further compliance decision on the ongoing case, and whether the meeting between Zuckerberg and Trump has been considered, or is there a statement regarding that? Thanks.
Come on.
Thank you, Anupriya. Another ongoing tech case, this time under the DMA, indeed, with Meta and its payer consent model. Let me start maybe with the beginning and the fine that we have issued on the 23rd of April, 200 million against Meta for breaching the DMA. Now, what are the next steps? The discussion that took place on the other side of the Atlantic has nothing to do on the work that we're doing on our side as Commission in this case. What I can tell you is that Meta has proposed only a limited number of changes to its advertising options available in the EU. This is not sufficient. This is not enough. The discussions are ongoing with Meta, but clearly at this stage, as also laid out in the non-compliance decision, periodic penalty payments are still on the table. Now, let me conclude by saying one important thing. The fine is not our objective. It's not the ultimate goal of the Commission. Our ultimate goal is compliance by all these platforms. So we keep having a constructive exchange with them. We all try to avoid a fine, but engagement needs to be on both sides. It needs to be constructive for the benefit of our citizens and businesses.
Thank you, Thomas. Still, you have a follow-up? No, Priya?
Just a short follow-up. Would you have a comment on companies like Meta going to President Trump and the US administration to lobby against the application of EU digital rules?
Like they have absolutely no say on what we're doing on our side of the Atlantic, we have no say on the discussions that they're having on their side of the Atlantic.
Any other questions to Thomas? Yes.
I might be wrong. Is Thomas also covering trade at the moment? No. Okay, then shall I continue or?
Yes, I don't see any more questions to Thomas.
Right.
There is one? Yes? Not for Thomas. Okay, so we come to trade.
All right, thank you. Koen Vels for Politico. I was wondering about the US. The EU has proposed last week its side of the joint statement, let's say, the deals with the US from Scotland. Now we are all waiting until the US lowering its car tariffs on EU manufactured vehicles. How long is the Commission's patience on this? Because it hasn't happened yet. I understand it would be coming soon, but I'm wondering, how long you will wait until you will unfreeze your retaliation measures. Thank you.
So as you know, Koen, but I'll give the floor to Ariana. This is supposed to be to be applied retroactively. So in a way, it's not a question of when the US actually triggers the retroactivity, because what counts is that it will be retroactive as of the 1st of August for any tariffs that would have been paid in the meantime. But Ariana, anything you'd like to add there?
No, indeed, Paula, you said it correctly. I think it's for the U.S. administration to answer on the timings of their internal procedures. In any case, as Paula was rightly mentioning, it will apply as of 1st of August, so the effect for the companies will be applicable as of that date.
Good, Carl.
Carl for Les Echos. Just a clarification. So that means that when the decision is made in the US importers will be reimbursed for the tariffs that they had to pay from August 1st.
I understand this is how the procedure should be working, yes.
Yeah, that's what stems from the agreement indeed. Okay, any other questions on trade? We have still, let's be sure that this is on trade. Edit? Online, Hancock?
Hi, yeah, no, it's on trade. Just to follow up on Kim's question. So the fact that we're to go to the US to ask on their timings, are we to take that to mean that the Commission has been given no guidance on when this, when this update might come?
We had an agreement with our counterparts. Of course, we count on the U.S. authorities making the necessary changes. But no, we don't discuss the exact steps they have to take in their national administration and how many hours or days it will take. What matters is that as of 1st of August, this will be applicable, so retroactively, and our companies will be relieved by the tariffs.
Good. Fabio Napoli, is this also on trade?
Yes, it is on trade, but on EU-India trade negotiations. Can I move on?
Yes.
All right, thank you. This is Fabio Napoli for the Italian news agency Public Policy. As I said, it's a question on the EU-India trade negotiations. I would like to know, are the ties between India and Russia undermining the ongoing negotiations with the EU, and especially after the last meeting between Modi and Putin in China? Thank you.
Fabio, yeah, I think I tackled this question actually yesterday at midday. So in the interest of time, as I think we don't have much time left together, I would invite you to look at the answers I gave at yesterday's midday briefing.
In any case, as you know, we are engaging with India in the negotiations of a free trade agreement, and we are working towards making it a reality sooner rather than later, as you know well. Good. Any further questions on trade? No? there, shy hand.
Hi, my name is Alexander Fanta. I'm a journalist with Follow the Money. I wanted to follow up on my question, on my colleague's question yesterday regarding the Mercosur text message sent by President Macron to President von der Leyen. There was a brief mention yesterday that the use of disappearing messages in the president's phone on her signal messages was due to a space constraints. So I think the claim was that this was to save space on her phone. As far as I understand, she uses the latest model iPhone, which would be an iPhone 16 Max Pro, which runs up to 1 terabyte of space. That's an awful lot of messages. So one question would be why that would be a reason to use disappearing messages, and also if you can specify any further within what time period the messages are then deleted.
I think you also
Thanks.
addressed this, Ariana.
I tackled this already yesterday, but if you want to repeat, happy to repeat. As is written in the decision that you have received and we flagged to you directly, so I'm again repeating things that we already made aware to everyone. There is a Commission recommendation called Checklist to Make Your Signal Safer that was published on the 8th July of 2022. And according to this recommendation, which comes from the Commission's services that are competent for ensuring the safety of IT equipment, the activation of disappearing messages is a recommended feature to prevent possible major data leaks. And this is why the President has activated this function in her phone.
Thank you, Ariana. Other questions? Other topics? Does not seem to be the case. No, sorry, there is one. Sorry? On another topic. Go ahead, go ahead.
Thank you, Paula. Maria Roni from Athens News Agency and Open TV. My question is on energy, and in particular on GSI project, the Great Sea Interconnector, which is about laying an electricity cable linking the power grids of Greece with Cyprus. And it is a project characterized of the highest strategic importance by the Commission. So, as you are aware, Turkish government continues its warnings that it would obstruct the GSI project. So it would obstruct to any work as they had done in the past. What is the reaction of the European Commission?
Anna Kaiser.
What we have been saying is exactly what you have said, that it's important. I mean, the entire project is of strategic importance, and it is important that it will be carried out. The activities and the comments made by Turkey, obviously, I would not comment that in the context of energy project. What my focus in commenting this project is restricted to precisely of what is the importance for the energy policy, for the energy infrastructure in the region, and the importance. But if there have been later developments now, I am happy to look into them, because I am not entirely up to date for example, if there has been something in the recent weeks. I am aware that statements have been made. We have recalled also at political level that it is important that a solution be found and that this project can go ahead, given its importance for the region. But if there have been later developments, I will have to educate myself on them and get back to you.
Not updated on this subject, but I would like to remind you that last summer Turkey has sent warships to the waters of south of Kassos, so a Greek island, to monitor research vessels. Now the threats are continuing this year, and it's important also to remind that the EU has approved a grant of 757 million euros to the GSI project. So EU's interests are affected by the Turkish government behavior, and I would like to know, if not today, maybe tomorrow, I would like to go back to this, how does the EU plan to react, and when does the EU plan to react, actually? Thank you.
This is something that, as you point out, I mean, this is. I was referring to the latest developments in case that there has been something precisely in the last couple of weeks when I was not following this, but it has been ongoing for some time. As you refer, it already started. There were developments, serious developments last year already, last summer, and this is something that the Commissioner, for example, has taken up with his counterparts, both in Turkey and as well as with those that are taking part in this project. It is. And as you point out, I mean, you're saying exactly the right things. We have invested in this project. It is important, not just for us, it is for the region. And obviously it is something that we would rather like to see happen in the schedule that was foreseen according to the studies that we also took part in. We just want to see a solution to be found so that the project can go on. But to the latest developments, I will have to check on them and get back.
And we remain committed to the project, Maria, to reassure you. Good. I see two online questions. I don't know if they for Anna-Kaisa, Naomi O'Leary. No, that's not for Anna-Kaisa. It seems Maria, Sarah. Anna-Kaisa, I don't know if it's for you.
Hello. Yes, it's a follow-up on Maria's question. Although you said it, Paola, I would like to confirm that the EU still supports the project of the GSI, and how? Because really, as Maria mentioned, we have several, provocations, and the cable is not really proceeding. The situation is stable. So how the EU helps its project to proceed? And is there any timeline for any developments on the issue? Thank you.
We have to remember here what is everybody's role when these kind of projects are being conducted. So we give a grant to a project following, or any project following a very precise process that we have in place for projects of common interest, for any kind of projects that are applicable, that are what is the word? That can receive EU funding. Eligible, yes. That are eligible for EU funding. And then the responsibility for actually carrying out the physical, the concrete building and constructing, etc. This is with the project promoters. So the Commission is not there to build and put in place these projects. So here we obviously stay in touch with our national counterparts at political, technical level, etc. to follow up, because obviously it is in our interest to know what's going on, and given that we have our investment and there's the political commitment as well. But the timelines, etc., this is with the project promoters, and they would be the best place to say exactly what is, how the construction is going and the timelines, etc. This is not to say that we would not have this information. I will have to check on the very latest on this, but as you rightly pointed out, there have been delays, and there have been issues that your colleague referred to earlier as well, and this is very much on our radar. This is has been taken up at political level as well, and it is an important project, and it is something that we very much would like to come into realization as soon as possible.
Good. Any further questions to Anna-Kaisa? No. Moses for Anna-Kaisa.
I would also like to ask for clarification, is this electricity cable some way related, let's say, to discussions in the past at least about this so-called East Med project of delivering LNG gas, liquid gas from Cypriotic gas fields to Europe via Greece? Do you know anything about that? Because we know that Turkey also try to prevent the drilling in these gas fields, right?
Let me check on that detail. Thank you.
Not necessarily linked, from what I remember. Good. Now, Naomi O'Leary, I guess on a different topic, because you've been trying to come in.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's on a different topic, foreign affairs, please. So it's just in regard to the statement by the International Association of Genocide Scholars yesterday, concluding that a genocide is underway in Gaza. So I just wanted to ask about the EU's policy on responsibility to protect. That was described by the European External Action Service as a fundamental pillar of the EU's foreign policy. So the responsibility to do what you can to prevent genocides. And the toolkit that was made available to the External Action Service delegations on the ground goes into quite a lot of detail about what should be done in cases of genocide, including the imposition of trade and arms embargo, the freezing of assets, the adoption of an EU travel ban, the imposing of diplomatic sanctions, and so on. My question is, does the EU still advocate for the principle of the responsibility to protect? And if so, why have those actions, which are described in the toolkit, not been taken? Thank you.
I mean, we had concluded on foreign affairs, but we brought back Anwar, if you can still take up this question.
Yes, happy to, and also to recall all the actions that we have been actually conducting on the file. Let me first react to the point on genocide, because this is what you have put forward. And I would like to recall that establishing whether international crimes, including genocide, whether they have been committed or no, is the competence of national courts as well as international courts and tribunals which may have jurisdiction, which you know is not the case of the EU. Now, in terms of the High Representative and the action that we have been taking, I'm happy here to recall and to stress all the action that have been taken at the level of the High Representative that has been maximizing and activating all the tools at her disposal and at the tools at the disposal of the EU as such on so many different levels. In terms of human rights, because you are also discussing the question of responsibility to protect, I would again recall that the EU is a strong supporter of the UN and the UN Charter, including the responsibility to protect that you have mentioned yourself. In terms of human rights, the High Rep has, and that was her prerogative, launched the exercise of the review at the FAC last spring, which then had also led to a cycle of different meetings of the Foreign Affairs Council, where discussions and also decisions have been taken amongst the EU foreign ministers. I would also like to recall here that all our positions have also led to different actions put on paper, whether adopted or no, and that was also part of the option paper and inventory that was put forward by the High Representative, that is also discussed by the foreign ministers, and you know that different voting systems apply, whether unanimity for those that fall under CFSP and those under QMV for those that fall beyond the scope of CFSP. The Commission has also proposed the partial suspension of the Israeli participation to Horizon Europe as a follow-up to the conclusion of the review that has found found indications that Israel was breaching its commitments in terms of human rights respect under Article 2 of the EU-Israel Association Agreement. In terms of humanitarian, because this is also what has been touched on your question, we have been extremely active. Eva could also go at length on that, but from my part, in terms of the action of the High Representative, we had reached an understanding with Israel, which then led to a change on the situation on the ground in terms of having more trucks being distributed to Gaza, more border crossing opens, more fuel being also delivered, more vital infrastructures being also repaired. This is significant, but this is clearly not enough. And this is why the Harep has been keeping the pressure on the Israeli foreign minister in every single contact that they're having that are quite regular. And this is why diplomacy is fully mobilized to actually keep the channels open and to put the pressure on our interlocutors to have a significant change on the ground, because this is what we are aiming, and this is what the High Representative is aiming in her action. Same goes for sanctions, in terms of the sanctions that we have been adopting under the EU global human rights sanctions regime against violent settlers. Other listings are on the table and need to find some consensus among member states. Last 2 points, because this is also important to recall here in terms of the perceived inaction that you are yourself putting forward. In terms of financial support, the EU is the biggest financial supporter to the Palestinian Authority. There is no other actor that is actually providing the help that we are providing to our Palestinian partners. And same goes to the other tools that we have also been activating in terms of the CSDP missions and operations, as was the case with the EU-BAM civilian mission that has been activated, deployed when we had a ceasefire, and that mission allowed to evacuate more than 4,000 Palestinians out of Gaza for medical treatment. So this shows the extent to which we have been active in the midst of a war theater, because let's not forget that we are operating in a war theater that complicates our operation, and that our statements have been translated into actions that I have been here outlining, and keeping in mind that the EU is a firm supporter to the two-state solution. Thank you.
Thank you, Anwar, for recalling what we have been doing on this dire situation. Good. Any other questions? Does not seem to be the case. Then we conclude our midday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.